Alright guys, so in this video, I will be showing you guys my typical workflow by building something from scratch using my vibe engineering method, which is a spec-driven development where you create planning and also like different tech spec and generate tasks before you build anything. And yeah, and then I use Codespace to build all the planning, and I did several tasks on it, and it was able to build this after I also just did some testing locally with Claude Sonnet 4.5 on Claude Code. And yeah, this was the result, and we were able to just do a chat and like use different models. And also, yeah, it looks really nice. The animation, I'm using Assistant UI, which is a UI library specifically for these assistant chat UIs. And yeah, this app is really good. We're gonna have a series on this, and we're gonna expand this even more. Right now, it is just for the chat with the multimodal support and also the session history, which is standard. But later on, we are gonna build a full-on everything app where all the AI features will be accessible in this app, and it will be open source, and we'll have the bring your own API key so that we can, not be reliant on subscriptions on third party, or as you can say, corporate AIs. So yeah, stick around to see the full video and see how I built that, and also how I did the planning, and yeah, how I integrated everything. Different AI tools have different functionalities, and they also have different models, which brings different results to the table. Our team actually uses a lot of these different tools, and that means we have a lot of different subscriptions. We have ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, Lovable, and V0, and all these tools cost money, and over time, over the months, it is starting to cost us. We feel like there should be an alternative to this. So in this video, we actually have thought of a solution, which is to build our own everything app. That's what we're going to call it, where we pretty much going to make every model, every tools or functionality like web search with AI insights like Perplexity. We're going to combine that all into this one app, and then we actually are going to create a series on this, and we're going to build everything one by one to replace all our subscriptions. We are gonna be also showcasing how we build things, and also just using our own tool and different AI agents to maximize the result, and of course ship features faster for this everything app. All these subscriptions alone cost us about 120 bucks, and that's not even all the tools. And if you add the API costs for every time we test different prompts, we use different playgrounds on different models, it totals up to more than $300 a month. So yeah, this everything app will just be a single subscription, and we can also bring our own keys, so we don't have to pay monthly, because of course, if you use this many tools in a month, you're not going to probably maximize the rate limit or like the usage on each of them. So we just thought that it's going to be a better way if you just bring your own key, get all these APIs and put it in one spot, have the playground, have the image generation, have the AI scraping capabilities just in this one app, and we can just tweak it around and don't have to pay monthly for it. We're going to build this everything app using our tools and also our starter kit, and we will show you the most optimum way to build apps in 2025. And also you'll have access to all the resources in the description below. To start off, of course, I'm going to be using the spec-driven development. I've discussed this many times on our previous videos. If you don't know the trendy term for this, it's pretty much just vibe engineering, which is where you take all the different contexts for your product, which consists of planning and tech spec and tasks, and you pretty much pass that on to any agents. Could be Cursor, Claude Code, or Codex, and then they just execute the code while you think of how the products and the features are gonna be planned out. We use Codespace for this, and Codespace is our own tool, which you can try out for free, which essentially just helps you generate docs and tech spec and also these subtasks. We're also going to be using the starter kit from Code Guide, which is also free. You can get it on this link, on this repo. It is using Next.js 15 with Drizzle ORM, with Postgres, and the auth will be using Better Auth. The front end is using ShadCN with Tailwind CSS. I have already actually started a little bit on this because I just wanted to try it out and see how Codespace does it. Here's the initial feature I've added, which is the normal chat feature. Is just using, you can choose different models and you can just chat, and there's the recommendations. This is using AI SDK from Vercel, which is very nice to use. You can do different models, different providers, which is great for this everything app. For the UI, I am using what's called Assistant UI, and it is pretty much just a UI library that's built on top of ShadCN. Well, I would say that it is very similar to ShadCN on how to initialize it and how it's using different components and compounding each component. And yeah, it does look nice, and it's open source, and you're able to build UIs for different chats and different AI assistants. The current state of the chat feature, it is working, but it is not actually saving to the database, and you can't really save or bring your own key to use in this app. And also you can see the sidebar is still using some of the dummy data from the starter kit. So in this video, I'm just gonna do a quick demonstration on how I will build on the features on this app. And yeah, we're mostly going to be using Codespace, where we did our initial planning, which is this one, as you can see. It created the text pack, and yeah, this was the original description I wrote. I just wrote that I wanted to build this everything app with the features included. And also I wrote down what libraries I wanted to use. And from that original description or initial prompt, it expanded it to create this text pack, which is very extensive. It adds all these different key points for the agents to note and actually implement. And from this text pack, a list of subtasks was created. There was 4 in total, as you can see. So it made these tasks with very specific actionable steps, and also the task strategy with the results that is going to be updated from the agent that is doing all the work. And of course, because this is Codespace, it used also the agent to code. As you can see, I was using Claude Sonnet 4.5, which was using Claude Code SDK, and it built the whole main feature. And then when it was finished, it created a PR link, which I just reviewed, and now it is still open, because we're gonna add some changes to the database so that it's able to save the actual chats and also the models with your API keys. Since this is still on the chat feature, I am gonna add a follow-up task and write down what I want to build on top of the current feature, which is just the basic chat UI. So this is the prompt that I'm going to be using for the follow-up task. It's just detailing what I wanted, the problem that I want to be solved, and also the different database schema that needs to be added, and yeah, just the overall flow. So I'm just going to press add follow-up, and then it will create a plan and also starts working on the code according to the tasks that is generated. These were the steps. And yeah, since the repo was already analyzed at the start, documents already been generated, it has made the knowledge base. Now it's just creating the task, and once it's finished, it's going to start coding everything. Codespace is currently going through its task, and you can see below, this is the real-time logs. It is going through the app, and yeah, it's pretty much just going through the code base and yeah, just doing each task one by one. Codespace finished all the tasks here. You can see the results, and yeah, you just pretty much made what I asked it to from the text pack also. So now what we can do is just try it out, and since it already has an open PR, we can just click on it and see the changes. But what I like to do is, as you can see, this was the latest changes it made. You can just review it here, or what I like to do is I just already have it on my local machine. So I go here, and then I just do a git pull, and then that will get all the latest changes, because I am already on that latest branch, which is here. You can see, there we go. It has finished it. Now, if I go through it, it's mostly database schema changes, and of course the API and like CRUD function for saving stuff to the database, and to run it on your local machine, like to run the migrations. Because I'm using Drizzle ORM and Drizzle Kit, we have the ability to do the migrations, which is very nice. That's why I like to use Drizzle. You can see here are all the schema it has added for the database, and right now the database should be empty. It should just have the better auth style. Let me just run it. Yeah, so with Drizzle, you can use the Studio function, which opens up a hosted version, like a locally hosted version of your like database viewer, which is really nice. It's similar to if you've seen pgadmin. This is pretty much the same thing. But yeah, it has a better UI, which is really nice. As you can see, it's just now like the auth schema, which is from Better Auth, and also comes with the tech stack, comes with the start kit on code guide. Okay, so to make the changes to the local database, so if you see, Drizzle has actually already made the schema or the migration over here. And to apply it, you just need to do one command, which is npm run db push. Now that should apply everything that was changed in the schema through this migration. And if you check again in local.drizzle.studio, you can see it has added the chat messages, chat sessions, and also the API keys for the users. And with the hashing, should be. Yeah, okay, there we go. It will be encrypted. Now let's check the changes to the code, and we'll review everything. This is just a, like a typical workflow for me. But yeah, usually there's an error when you finish with the agent, but that's fine. You can just copy the error and then paste it in your agent. Today I'm going to be using a mix of Claude Code and Codex, but for this I usually just stick with Claude Code. It is running on Sonnet 4.5, and I would say it is the best agent right now. But yeah, Codex is really good for UI, especially for React. So let me just do a debugging session with Claude Code to fix this issue. It should be a quick fix, but let's see. I did some prompting and the errors are fixed. And one tip I want to share with you guys that helps a lot with debugging is using this MCP called Context 7. And what it actually does is an MCP is pretty much just like a way for the AI to access different tools. And yeah, Context 7 allows the AI to have access to the latest docs, because I think that's the common problem with these AI agents, with like Codex and yeah, code with any CLI agents or like IDE agents. What they have is they have a pre-trained data on like old data, and yeah, it has like a cutoff, could be like from from last year or the previous year. So to counter that problem, there's Context 7. What it does is the tools or the agents will have access to the tool to do a search, and you have access to the latest docs. For example, you have all these different libraries, and there's thousands more. And what they can do is just search, perform a search, and actually do another search, get the latest docs from these libraries, so that it is able to fix the issues that is usually caused by just an outdated, information or knowledge on the library. Errors are fixed. Let's just test it out. I see that this was newly added, so now you can add chats, which should save it to the database. So let's just try that. Just do a quick chat that should save the session. But if not, okay, there seems to be an issue here. But let me check the database if it is actually saving. So you can see here when I refresh, it doesn't have a chat session yet. So that's one of the error. So that's one issue. And let me just check the network tab and do it again if it shows any. Okay, so there is an error here. It's clear, and we can just open up our server logs. Should be here, and yeah, we see. Oh, okay, so it's just an environment that I haven't added yet. Let me just add that. So I just went ahead and yeah, just copied this from the env.example and then just paste it into my .env. Now let's just refresh the current page and see if it is working now. Okay, so there's still an error, and it is a different error now. So let me just go ahead and see the server logs again. So it is an issue with the inserting to the database. So let me what I do is I just copy it. Most of the time it does work. You just copy it and paste it to your agent. I'm going to be using Cloud Code for this, and let me just paste it in, and yeah, just say a bit of context regarding how I got this error. And I'll go ahead and click enter, and then that will go and try to debug that, or actually like find a fix for it. I went and did some tinkering with the assistant UI library, and yeah, as you can see, it is looking really good. The UI itself is pretty much already done. Like it looks like ChatGPT. Like I just added some more inputs. For example, like the model selector here. This is really also working, and it's great. Like I didn't do a lot of like prompts to get that to have this UI, which is nice. Like I really recommend you guys try it out. Like if you are trying to make like a ChatGPT clone, or any other like AI interface UI, chat UI, this is really good. Like you can see the examples here. There's several like templates you can just start from, and yeah, this is like from Claude. And yeah, I mean, overall, like this was a great choice, and I have finished this implementation pretty much. You can also add attachments, and yeah, you can add attachments, and you can choose your models now, which is nice. And also you can have this session history, which is standard, and it is being saved to the Drizzle database, which is on Postgres, and you can see database. So it's working really nice, and it is connected to our auth with the models being selected by us. So it is not like any default models that we use. We can just choose one that we prefer. So for adding these API keys, it is a bit separate now, but I think we can do that in a later video when we integrate everything. Right now, like if you want to add an API key, it is stored in the dashboard. So this is mostly just dummy data. As you can see, like it's just to look nice. It is from the starter kit. Like these tasks and everything, but it's kind of useless now. But later on, we are going to integrate like analytics so that we can see our usages, because every time we make a call, that costs money, right? Like we want to see if we're getting our money's worth out of like, compared to having these 10,000 subscriptions or whatever, right? And like spending $200 and more. So yeah, and that's going to be for a later video though. But if you are like, Codespace already integrated this API key management, which is really nice because I have written it down in my initial prompt on Codespace, and yeah, you expanded it and it added it to the tech spec. From the tech spec, it was able to create this whole chat UI with the different functions, and also with this new library. I did do several prompts afterwards, but it was just like for UI fixes, and there was some errors, and so I had to refer to the docs itself and like just copy the example for Cloud Code to fix. I did mostly just use Cloud Code with Sonnet 4.5, but I did use a little bit of Codex for the UI because I really like how Codex handles UI. So yeah, that's overall. That's gonna be it for the video. I just wanted to, start by creating this ChatGPT clone, you can say, where you can choose your own models. And of course, right now it's just OpenAI, but if you add other providers in the code, you can get access to Gemini and also, like Claude and yeah, like even open source models. So yeah, that's it for this video. I will be continuing on building this in later videos, which will be probably moving on to the next feature would be Perplexity Clone, which is like just an AI search engine. Like it's a search engine that's powered by AI, so it's giving us AI insights and getting from all these different sources and just giving it to us, these references. And yeah, that would be the next video. So stick around. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any feedback or you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Everything I use, it will be in the description below, especially this Everything app repository because it is open source. I'll link it in the description. And don't forget, Codespace is currently free. You can try it out for a limited time. There is a free tier, and yeah, you can do planning and even use the Codespace agent to code for you. So thank you.